Live service games are games that are broken at release and are patched later to a playable state. Live service games are just psychological traps with sunk cost fallacy, so you just keep playing forever because you've played forever. It's like a long-term relationship you've been in, and you just don't know how to end it, even though you know it's toxic and you shouldn't keep going, but there's some parts that are good, but it doesn't quite outweigh the bad, and there's all these new games coming out. Anyways, my personal definition of live service gaming is no internet, no game. Pretty simple. You need to be online to play the game. Live service games are becoming increasingly popular in the last couple years just because of the access to internet. Everybody has internet all the time, so might as well make the game live service. Live service games should not be confused with MMORPGs. MMOs are massive multiplayer online games. Now, they have the online in common, but a lot of live service games were MMOs in the early days. As a matter of fact, the first live service game was an MMO. Now, in order to really understand live service games and why they're so popular right now, we have to go back to the beginning. Fortnite. No, I'm just kidding. But we'll get there. Fortnite is very important. World of Warcraft, the first live service game. Now, as I mentioned, live service games are not MMOs. MMOs are massive multiplayer online games, like World of Warcraft. The reason why World of Warcraft was so successful was because of the MMO elements, not the live service elements. As a matter of fact, some would even say that the live service elements is why the game died today. World of Warcraft was extremely successful, and the reason why is because of the amount of time investment, was because of the amount of game time you could play. That is so redundant and stupid. I can't believe I said that. Now, with World of Warcraft being the game that it was at the time, there was nothing to compete with it. I mean, you had RuneScape, but that was, farm simulator. So in comparison, it was the only game that was a true live service game. Live service games became really popularized with Destiny. Destiny made it more accessible for other genres of games to become live service games besides RPGs. Destiny was an FPS RPG that was advertised as an MMO because of the drop in, drop out, but it was really an instance-based games, which MMOs are instance-based. I'm off topic here, and some people could even argue the idea that Destiny is an MMORPG, but I don't think that it is. I think it's an FPS live service game with instance-based matchmaking. Now, when Destiny came out, it set the precedent of what a live service game is. I remember watching the trailer like ages ago, I don't know, 2015, 2014, when the player just spawned out of their ship that flew over right next to you. It's like, oh my gosh. And the aspect of the PvE, they really advertised this game like it was an MMORPG. Again, in a nutshell, it kind of is. Destiny set the precedent for other games to do this, for other games to be like, hey, you want to play our game? Internet. This is bad. This is bad, I would say. I remember having Halo and Call of Duty be the FPS games that you would play online, offline, whatever. But you had offline as an option. Now, let's say that there's an internet outage where you're at, right? You don't have internet for a whole day. You can't play any of your favorite games because there's no offline option. More specifically, the game's not designed offline, right? So with Halo, now there is a story and a multiplayer. Those multiplayer instances are not the only thing that you're buying. That is another big variable in why live service games are becoming so popular right now. They can just release the game for free and sell cosmetics. If you're addicted to the game, playing it for so much fun, hey, the game's free, you might as well spend a little bit of money. Now, monetizing in video games is a whole nother problem, and that is for another video. But with live service games, monetization shouldn't be the objective. The objective with games should be making a good product that people enjoy. And if they enjoy the product, they'll keep playing it. I've replayed the same game over and over and over because I enjoy what it is, not how much time I've put into it. Now, again, going back to Destiny, a great example of, let's make a plot twist. We're gonna kill a character. All right, another plot twist. We're gonna kill another character. Okay, now you're actually you're using the darkness. The Traveler been a bad guy the whole time. The Traveler's twin brother. The idea of just we gotta rope him back in, sell him this DLC. It's insane. It's insane, and people have been covering it. People have been talking about it, but the one thing that's crippling live service games. Another example of a live service tragedy: Overwatch. Overwatch was a fantastic game because of what it was, not because of what they were doing to it, right? And the support that they gave it was great. They released new units every 7 months. They had a lot of awesome cosmetics that you could gamble for, which was super fun. You could earn the currency in game, so if you played and grinded out, you could actually get things without having to spend money. Fascinating concept. Being able to play the game and earn the premium currency. Man, if only other games did that. Anyways, Overwatch did that. And then they decided to shut down their game to work on a new game. Overwatch 2, the same game with the 2 behind. I remember when 2 meant something, okay? I remember when Halo 2 came out, you could dual wield, all right? You could dual wield 2 guns, huge difference, totally different game. Borderlands 2, whole nother game, not the same game, repackaged. I mean, Destiny 2, debatably the same game repackaged. I remember when I played Destiny 2 for the first time, there was huge differences. I was like, oh, this game's so different. But now looking back on it, I couldn't even recognize them. Anyways, Overwatch, they stopped working on Overwatch 1 to start working on Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2, a game in which would have a PvE, a live service PvE. Don't get me wrong, it's still live service, but it is available to play a PvE. After Overwatch 2 comes out, they say we're actually going to delay it like 2 months, or was it a year? We're going to delay it. They delay it, and they delay it. We don't hear any information about it. We're actually going to scrap the whole reason why we made a second game. And also, you can't earn premium currency in the game anymore. Yeah, if you want a skin, you have to pay $20 for the skin because we got sued for gambling. Yeah, I get it. Terrible. Let me gamble. Just make the game rated R. Let me gamble, all right? That's what I want to do. That's fun. That's like the seat. I'll play 8 games in a row just to be able to open 1 loot box if I don't have to pay money. If you make it so I don't have to pay money to enjoy the game, whole nother beast. Now, live service gaming isn't all bad. There is League of Legends. League of Legends is doing a great job. It's a MOBA game. Now, I think that the live service issue comes in with the genre of game, right? If we're doing FPS and we try to make it a live service game, that's hard depending on the dynamic of the FPS. If it's a PvE, raid-based, MMO FPS, then it's really hard to make that live service. I can't even lie. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. It's not. The issue comes in with greed. When you want to make it about this or that, or let's make it about making money. Let's make it about making money. It ruins the game. Now, I've never played League, never been a League player. I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but I do know what free-to-play brings to communities. I don't think it's the League of Legends. I don't think it's Valorant. I don't think it's Fortnite. I don't think it's Apex. I think it's free access to it, right? Children, degens, anyone. That's the issue. Valorant, another live service game. Tactical shooter, fantastic. I love tactical shooters. It's really sweaty. It's really competitive, but also you don't have to pay for a thing unless you want cosmetics. Then you have to pay for those. You know, now that I think about it, there's no way for you to get gun skins if you don't spend money. Absolutely no way. You can still enjoy the product and still have a great time. You can even have some of the best community engagement because team communication is so important, because gun skins are so popular. You know, I'll be like, hey man, can I try your gun skin? I want to see what it looks like. I've talked to so many people because they just like my gun skins. You know, I think that the issue again with live service gaming goes back to my first point that they release the games saying we're going to fix it later. And that's not an issue if the game is free, in my opinion. I think a lot of people, hot take, I think a lot of people are hypercritical of free games. If the game's free, they release it, I agree, it should be ready. But if something gets overlooked or somebody makes a mistake, we shouldn't stop playing the game. We shouldn't riot. We shouldn't get mad that they're charging us, asking for money for cosmetics because they need a playtest. We love betas. Why don't we just put beta in front of everything? If a game's not ready, just put beta in front of it. Even if it's done, even if you know it's flawless, put beta on it for 3 months in case you miss something. That would be genius. But, you know, nobody hires me. I'm just in my room. I just want to say that live service gaming isn't a terrible thing overall. I just think that it could be a potential problem for games in the future if we completely abandon the single player aspect. Now, here's live service games that are phenomenal, right? I think that they're great. Live service is awesome. Don't get me wrong. If done correctly, live service is a great thing for gamers that want that type of experience. Now, the issue comes in where when we neglect the single player experience or when we neglect the actual multiplayer experience for a hybrid that isn't good enough. Destiny. I hate Destiny. I don't know if you guys figured that out from this video. I hate what they did to that game. It was amazing, and it's just a complete travesty now. One thing I think is important is, again, that we still have single player dedicated games and multiplayer dedicated games. And even single player games that can be multiplayer without live service. Now that sounds crazy, I know, but it would be fantastic if we could release a single player game and just enjoy it. Baldur's Gate 3, fantastic job. Final Fantasy, I really enjoyed it. Some people were disappointed. I get it. People get disappointed. I enjoy everything. I enjoy everything. I really do, except for Destiny. Destiny sucks. I don't know. I have hope. I have hope for live service games. I have hope for the gaming industry as a whole. But I think what's really important is that we take monetization out of the priority for gamers and we take the time to release a finished product. For others, not for me. Because again, I don't care. I think us as gamers should just be grateful and enjoy the games. But we shouldn't settle for something that we don't, like. I'm not settling because I'm just grateful to have fun games to play. And if the games are broken, so be it. And if it upsets that many people, then I think that they should fix it. If everybody was like me, then it wouldn't be a problem. But everybody's not like me, and I understand that. And I would never ask anybody to suppress their opinions because I just want to play a broken game. I would rather all of us get upset and the games get fixed. But it looks like with the new trend and pointing the fingers, these games aren't going to get fixed. These games aren't going to come out. There's a new tax shooter coming out by Mountaintop Games. It looks good. I think it'll be good. This could be another live service tragedy, but we'll see. Blue Protocol, MMO. It's a live service game. I've heard mixed opinions. The dev teams released some videos that are pretty crazy. I play a lot of mobile games. Those are like all live service. There's no good mobile games that are a download only besides like balls, and that I have like a high score of 400. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I've done it. I balled out. In conclusion, I feel like this next year will be huge for games. And in the next year, we'll discover if live service games will be released properly, if single player games are going to start coming back with Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, God of War. These games have been doing really good with reminding us why single player games exist and not blending the competitive nature of a single player game and a multiplayer game. I think speedrunners aren't a problem at all for that, but I do think that they've influenced people to be meta gamers for single player games. For example, if we have a live service gamer, a competitive gamer that sees their favorite content creator like Shroud play a game like Diablo, and he's like, man, I gotta have the best build to be like Shroud. I gotta have the best, strongest, overpower strength, just completely shred defense to be so good. You don't have to do that. You can be mid. It's okay to be mid. Some games are mid. They don't have to be the best game. Your favorite game can be a mid-ass game, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be the best game. My favorite game is mid. I love Epic 7. I love Honkai Star Rail. I play a lot of gacha games. It's a big problem. That doesn't mean that they're the best games ever because they're my favorite game. That means that I like something, and you can like something too, as long as it's not Destiny.